Since I already created this channel because my last account was banned a few weeks ago for 10 days because of something I posted about COVID being a hoax that destroyed the American dream, which goes to show that it really did, considering they censored it as if it was a plaque to the internet. So, to begin this video, as I'm editing my Miami video, because I've noticed my editing has improved a lot in the past 9 months, so I'm re-editing and remaking all of my old traveling content. I really just want to use my other channel for music and traveling like I originally wanted. And I've already talked about stories and blogs of this topic, which is really what got my last channel going. I'm just going to put most of that on this channel since I already made it. I might as well use it. So just to cut to the chase, we already know we're living in some depressing and bizarre times. I can go on, but I just want to get onto it and just be straight to the point. I have noticed that now it just seems like all we do is wake up, get groggy, barely have time to eat and have your coffee and get ready, head to a job, work twice as much or more for the same amount of pay that's not livable, come home drained and burnt out, and not having a place of your own to live. I mean, in Boston in 2023, back when I was sleeping in my car in Boston, that was really hit me. Like, I noticed, like, I'm in Boston, I'm trying to do everything I can on deliveries, just barely trying to get by and looking for a place to live and get a bartending job like I came there to do in the first place. Even with a bartending certificate and experience from previous jobs and caterings, it was still hard to get my foot in the door. Like, the land of opportunity just feels like a lie because it's oversaturated with bartenders, and they claim they're hiring, but they're not. And you can hand in the resume to the same place like 10 times and they still won't hire you. And when you ask them why they won't hire you, they just have a fight with you. I mean, the land of opportunity in the American dream just feels like a lie. Because, like, I worked day and night doing deliveries, couldn't afford a hotel because it took up 80% of everything I had, and I lived in a car in a parking garage. And that's where I'm just like, I'm an American citizen. I work. I have no criminal record or felonies. I have a good resume. I have skills. But yet, at the end of the day, I live in a car in a parking garage. I'm trying to go out and look for a better job like I am qualified for, but yet I don't have a home. And because I don't have a home, nobody will hire you. And if you make up an address, they'll find out. And that to me was just like, I don't get it. I don't get why here in America, the land of opportunity and the free, you work at a terrible job, not making enough money, and you live in your car at the end of the day. And that's how it is now. Like, I work, come home drained, and not have a place of my own to live. You know, I had 3 apartments of my own before the pandemic started. I lived in San Diego in 2019, 5 years ago today. I lived in Mason, Ohio at a giant apartment for 910 square feet. I lived in Miami, Florida in 2021, and that was when I lost everything. Like, that was when everything just collapsed. And now it just seems like America just looks like something you would see in like a poor country in South America or a Haiti. And it's starting to have a governance and dictation of North Korea as time goes on. And it really does not look like America anymore. I mean, really, is the American dream really having a hard time finding a job, not making enough money if you do have a job, doing twice the work for the same amount of pay because of greedy corporations that won't pay you enough money for the work you do, having a tough time finding a place to live because of picky landlords and banks? I mean, if you work and you have no home, you go to your local city or place in town, there's nothing to do, everything's too expensive, everything's closed after dark, and you just see homeless people piled up everywhere. You see piles of garbage, pieces of shits on the sidewalk, people sleeping in like all these ghetto set up tents, heroin needles, people shooting up drugs and fentanyl on the streets. You see violent crimes on the rise every day with scammers on the internet. You see abandoned buildings with graffiti. All those abandoned buildings with graffiti and crumbling down could be like homes and businesses, like Cincinnati did in 2020. I mean, really, how and why is it that here in America, our infrastructure is just decaying and crumbling and evaporating slowly, like you see in Cuba. Like, inflation is now on the rise, and no one can afford to live on 13 an hour, let alone 20. It's not a livable wage. Now, you say that, and people on the internet just randomly say stupid things to you that just don't make any sense, and it's probably not even a real person when you write to these people most of the time. And I remember like 5 years ago, I had my own home in San Diego, one of the most expensive places in the country. And 3.5 years ago, I was living in Miami, Florida. Like, I don't get it. How is it that I went from that to living in my car in Boston? And now I live basically in a basement because I'm not able to get a home of my own anywhere else. Now, before people say stupid things like the basement, which they probably already did, I could very well get a roommate with someone, or probably work my balls off to where I can have an apartment of my own to live in, but which is wiser? Living with a roommate and still spending all of your money on rent and necessities? Or would you rather live rent-free and stack up every dollar you have, get a passport, use all that time you're spending stacking money to learn another language and the culture of a country you're moving to, and get the fuck out of America and start a new opportunity? Because clearly that land of opportunity we here in America doesn't exist anymore. It's very clear that it's called the American dream because you have to be asleep to believe it.